one big happy family.
You got me? Okay. That's great. Go watch there.
Okay.
All right. We also have with us a 10th grade student and very talented artist from Scott County High School, Miss Ava Craggle. Each year, just before Kentucky School Board Association Conference, KSBA invites schools to design a banner to represent its conference theme and showcase their students and districts. This year, advanced art students from Scott County High School submitted several pieces to convey the theme, Built to Last. Ava was our district winner, creating this painting of the beautiful and historic Scott County Courthouse. At the conference, we were also very proud to show off her work, which was, in my opinion, the best in the state. And Tony Thomas and our partners at Clotfelter Samacar know a thing or two about quality designs themselves. So in addition to the Scott County Schools Challenge coin, as Colonel Garcia just stated, that coin's nice, but there's also a gift card for Ava as well that we will be presenting tonight. So on behalf of our board members, I would like to express our appreciation to Ava for representing Scott County Schools at the KSBA conference. Your artwork is amazing. So thank you. Ms. Holmes, did you say something else about the artwork too, perhaps? Is that?
Well, I just spoke with Ava's mother, and our hope is that we can
Yes. That'd be cool. That'd be great.
All good.
Okay, wonderful. All right, thank you very much. Number 4, agenda approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is public comment. Tasha Williamson. Tasha, I know that you have been here with us before, but we do have another guest that will be following you. So I just want to kind of explain to everybody, just as a courtesy, we will allow each of the 3 folks who are coming up to speak, everybody will have 5 minutes to speak. You're welcome to address the board. However, we won't be conversing back and forth, but we are taking into consideration what you are saying. And if there's any follow-up needed by any of us, we will do so after the meeting in the next, coming days. Okay? And Mr. Salisbury, our attorney, will be doing the timing for it. So you'll have 5 minutes, so please go ahead.
Start now?
Yes.
Okay.
You can start now.
Good evening. Thank you for having me again. I would like to just briefly read from the recent statement from KASA regarding student grooming and safety, then make a request to the board. This was released 3 days ago on the 23rd. Grooming and sexual abuse of students will not be tolerated in Kentucky's public schools. Protecting children is not simply a policy priority, it is a moral obligation and a matter of public trust. Abuse most often occurs at the hands of someone a child trusts, an adult with access, authority, or influence. Grooming behaviors exploit that trust, gradually breaking down boundaries and creating secrecy and manipulation that can make misconduct difficult to detect without proper vigilance and training. Public schools must be safe havens, places where students are protected, believed, and supported from preschool through graduation. While that is the mission of Kentucky's public schools, we acknowledge the painful reality that trust has, at times, been broken. Any instance of grooming or abuse is one too many, and consequences for any such violation must be swift and unequivocal. Above all, we affirm our unwavering commitment to believe and support victims. Kentucky school leaders understand that integrity is not theoretical. It is demonstrated in action. As trusted leaders in our schools and district, we are committed to confronting this issue directly, removing and penalizing those who violate their positions of trust, and continuing to work to ensure our schools remain places of safety, dignity, and care for every student. Given the expectations outlined in this statement, I'm asking that this board just ensures any concerns going forward from student safety perspective or misconduct is consistently recognized, documented, and there's transparency with the student's family and whoever is involved and needs to have that transparency. Just because I think that is going to be the foundation so families trust that things are handled appropriately and that their children are safe. Thank you. That's it.
All righty, thank you. Samantha Edding? Good evening.
Evening. How are you? I'm okay. Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to read all this or not. I've never been here, and I don't know any of you all, I don't believe. I want to start out just by saying something about myself. I've never made any kind of a complaint or made any kind of a suggestion to the school board. My,
Take your
You
time.
got this. Come on.
um,
You need a hot kick because I would do one.
Oh, no,
for you.
no.
I want to make
Yeah.
it clear
I'm just
that
trying to encourage you.
I love Scott County schools in ways that I can't explain to you. I've never had a teacher that I did not have their personal cell phone number that they gave to me. I've never felt like my child was unsafe in any form or fashion. But I have some concerns, and I want to follow up with KASA's commitment. The policies that you all have in place right now, I'm not confident if there is one or if it's being followed. I don't feel like prevention, reporting, and accountability is being done from my perspective. I feel like that parents can go and do all the things that they're supposed to, and there's no follow through. I just want to be very transparent that there's no documentation given. There is no plan in place. The parent is really confused about the process. I've tried very hard to find out how to educate myself and how to understand what is happening. I tried to find the policy. I contacted everyone that I knew to contact, and I went to the schools multiple times. I don't want to get off on that. But what I will say is the only thing that I could find at all as far as filing a complaint was a Title IX that was brought before me. The Title IX was brought to me, and I was advised to not file a Title IX specifically because it would slow down the process. So I guess that's my first question is why do you have a process that you would tell me not to use because it will slow down the process? That's what I was told multiple times. Don't file a Title IX. So I didn't. The reporting is not, I don't know how the reporting works, but the reporting is not done 100% correctly. You're not allowed to know a lot of things. You can't ask a lot of questions. You can't find out what the policies are. You can't find out what substantiated means. You don't know any of that. I will say that if you have a policy, I want this, what I have here, I want this to be added to your policy. I want somebody to look at this and I want them to add it to the policy. Because this is the only piece of paper I was ever shown was this here, which is a 4-page map of a school and where my child is highlighted, where she would be safe and where she would not be safe. So if you have a policy, I want this added to it. This was what I was given, itemized with her name on it, where she could go and she could not go, because she filed a complaint. The other thing is, she has a 504 plan. No one ever asked me, was this conducive for her 504 plan? She's missing her leg above the knee. And what you don't know about that is someone missing their leg above the knee exerts 60% more energy than someone that has both of their limbs. The only documentation I was ever given was this 4-page map. It actually wasn't given to me, it was given to her. On this is where you're safe and this is where you're not safe, requiring her to walk twice as far as she ever would just to get to class. If somebody can't add this to the policy, then somebody shouldn't have given it to me, because this is not okay. So I really want you all to look at the policy you have and reach out to KASA on what they feel is appropriate. Look at the look at things that are coming up that are going to be passed, and see if that's what you're doing, and think if that was your child or your neighbor's child, and is this what you want to do? Does it take one student to report it? I asked this question. How many does it take? Does it take 1? Does it take 2? Does it take 12? Give me a number, and that's all I got. But
Ms. Eddington, you have 30 seconds.
Thank
Sorry
you.
to interrupt you.
No, you're good. In closing, I really want you all to understand how much I love this school system. And for me to have to sit here and say that someone allowed this to fall through the cracks breaks my heart in ways that I cannot explain to you. So I don't want you to think I'm on a witch hunt, because I'm not. But there's a policy in place that is not working, and I can promise you it's not working. And I just want you to look at it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Mike Davis. Good evening.
How y'all doing? Good. No snow, we're back in school.
Don't jinx us.
Hopefully we can
Yeah,
get
please,
past
Mike,
the-
don't.
Yeah, don't jinx us.
I'm
Did you see
sorry.
the sleep?
Sorry. I was just trying to be positive, my goodness.
I appreciate that.
That's exactly right, that's exactly right. You timing me too over?
You're good.
Mike, I heard an idea today
What's that?
that that we need to put our
Mike,
timer on the
I'm
board.
not,
Yeah, don't count this
your
against
time,
him.
Mike. I'm not
Don't
gonna
count
let
this
him do
against
that to you.
Yeah.
No, never mind. I'll talk to you about it later. I'll talk to you about it later.
I hear you. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, fellow colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity again to speak to y'all tonight on behalf of the Scott County Education Association. First and foremost, I want to begin with gratitude. Over the past several years, this board has demonstrated steady leadership and willingness to move our district forward. Together with administration and superintendent, we have improved compensation, strengthened our work environments, and built a culture rooted in professionalism and mutual respect. That does not happen by accident. It happens because of intentional leadership and a shared belief that Scott County schools can and should be led in a certain way. And again, as I speak tonight, it is for appreciation in a continued partnership. We're at a point of growth, our growth in our district, our growth in our expectations, our community's belief in us growing in the right way. And with that growth comes responsibility, the responsibility to ensure that the people who make this system work each and every day are supported, valued, and retained. As we talked in January about compensation and proposal that I gave you all, we want to make sure that we continue the progress that we've made already. We think that over the years we've continued to show our people and to show our community that our teachers and our people are valued here. As I expressed in the summary I gave each and every one of you, my thing that I look at the most is our classified employees. I think that in a time where we just have had a huge battle with House Bill 500 that still has to go through the Senate. We wouldn't have school if that passed, I can tell you, because every one of them would quit. So, hopefully we can step up to where we need to as far as compensation when it goes to them. Our ask is real simple. You know, it represents the next logical step in a forward movement this board has already begun. It reflects our desire to remain competitive at the best levels to retain the highest educators and classified staff that we can possibly get, and to protect the culture that we've worked so hard to build together. Growth requires investment, and when we invest in people, we invest in student outcomes, community stability, and long-term excellence. We are thankful for the leadership that you have shown, and we are hopeful that that leadership will continue as we move to the next budget cycle and as we prepare and work on the budget for the coming years, and the vision we have for coming years. At the same time, we cannot ignore things that are happening at the state level, just like what we've dealt with in the 2026 session here so far in Frankfort. Across Kentucky, public education continues to face policy shifts, funding debates, and legislative proposals that directly impact how we operate at the local level. Decisions about funding formulas, school choice expansion, and regulatory changes are not abstract political conversations. They affect classrooms, staffing stability, and long-term planning of districts like ours. And we suffer sometimes a little bit more than others just because of the fact of the way that what our community looks like, the seat formula changes a little bit. That's why this fight matters. The advocacy helps shift policy, and there's no more that shows that than what we've seen from Mr. Parker with what we've been doing with sending educators to the Hill, people meeting with our legislators, Matt, Tony, and Vanessa. They've all been great to meet with us and listen to our concerns, and I think that's a partnership that started because of the advocacy that Mr. Parker made with those people by bringing them into the fold and making sure that we were as important as anything else that they were fighting for. With state decisions, you know, they create uncertainty sometimes, but it's our strong local leadership that becomes so crucial during those times. They're the ones that make sure that publicly they acknowledge and understand the importance of what you do to ease the people's worries. We're grateful for that leadership. We're grateful for the fact that whenever you all step forward and you make sure that
Mr. Davis, sorry.
Yeah, okay. You make sure that that people understand that our purpose is to breed success in our students. We want to continue that partnership. We want to make sure that we believe in growth. Let the momentum continue. Let continue investing in people, and let's continue leading rather than reacting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mike.
Hey, look here, I got 5 seconds left. Look at that.
Okay, that concludes our.
Well, that's
That's what we're
what my
thinking of.
comment was actually pointing towards, Mr. Davis.
We're doing a shot clock.
Well, if we're gonna put a shot clock up there for public comment, I think we should for the superintendent's report.
Uh-oh.
It goes both ways.
Uh-oh.
Does she get points on the bingo board for that one?
She is the bingo board. Okay, number 6, consent agenda A through K.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, excuse me.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. I just flipped through that one. Number 7 is construction reports. Come join us, Tony.
Well, good. Good evening.
Hello.
Do I have a shot clock?
Tony, thank you for providing that gift card. For
More than welcome. I love the theme, built to last. I mean, and the architectural courthouse, she did a great job. So tonight, of course, we got Oxford going on, and the sun made the picture not so great, but I was glad to see it because we haven't had a lot of it lately, and tried to get another one, but the sun was still there. So I lucked into a good day yesterday where there were lots of people on the site working, so that was really good to see. On the right is the concrete roof that they now have poured for the storm shelter, and on the left is more typical roof, all of which will be covered in metal. Going around to the back side, you can see again on the left is the storm shelter and the concrete roof and the beautiful sky. They had a great day for working. And just a close-up, you can see of the storm shelter, what really goes on. I mean, that is steel angles all the way around the building. So that portion of the building is really jacked up, for lack of a better word, with structure to really make it a safe place. As I move on around the building, again, you can see some of the soil drying up there, but they're continuing to work on the roof. The kitchen cafeteria, as we know, is one of the last pieces of the puzzle that they've been working on, but they do have steel up now. They're getting ready to set steel joists. Fortunately, I tell you, since the ice and the rain that we've had, I was out there yesterday and I was surprised how much they've gotten done just since that time period. But I was glad to see a lot of people on the site working. They've got the gym closed back in. They had some problems with the Tectum in a storm blowing off, but they've got it all closed in now, so they
How
should be
much
able.
of that roof was subject to that?
You know, I
flooding?
don't know. I don't
Okay,
know how
I
many
just- I wasn't
pieces
sure.
they lost. A couple of months ago, there was big winds that came through, and they had it protected with plastic. The plastic blew off and damaged some. That's Tectum deck. It's a little different than normal deck because in the gym you want the sound protection. It really helps the sound. But they had to wait 8 weeks to get it to have it remade and bring it back in. But that's what I was referring to. But now, fortunately, they've been able to put it back in, and that area should be able to get dried in. Plumbing, electrical, mechanical is all moving along. This is I guess that'd be the east wing of the building, but to the left, if you're facing the front of the building, it's the one that's furthest along. They've got it dried in. In fact, they even some colors, and look at that Oxford Owl orange there. That is just really nice and bright. But now there will be several things on. That's the teaching wall, so there'll be marker boards and tack boards. It just won't be solid orange. But they've got several of those painted now. So it's painted. You can see the HVAC. You can see things hanging. Once they get the windows in, they can continue to paint and work on finishes. This is the mezzanine above there, HVAC equipment in, piping in, electrical in. So they've been able to move along, and any area that they can get dried in, they're able to work in. Over in the storm shelter area, you can see that they've had some success inside getting some HVAC up, but weren't able to work too much during the ice in this area because there was still water coming through the roof. This is just show you a sample of the wall that they had to construct. In the past, and sometimes they've built us 2 or 3 options, but we brought the brick and the ceramic tile and things of that, and the metal roof to you all through renderings, and we've had that selection process already. But they still have to build it to make sure we're okay with how they're doing it, the joinery and the insulation and things of that nature. And they've done a good job, and so that's some of the elements that you'll see in the building. With all that said, of course, here we were. I think at the last board meeting, I mentioned, let's just hope for good weather. And it was the next day that, that was a Thursday night, and I think Friday night's when it started snowing. And like other jobs and schools, everything shut down for a little while. So I did get some pictures in there. They had an unfortunate situation. Well, there's the area that was good. They were able to actually get in there once they were able to access the site, get in there and do a little bit of work in that area, but that was the only area that they were able to work in. You could see when they finally got in, I think this was a couple of weeks after the big snow, they actually had to get in there with a loader and scrape the snow and ice off the floor just to keep working. One of the things I mentioned to Mr. Parker was that's all the ice that stayed there, and it stayed so cold for a while. That some of the slabs actually heaved in there, and you can see a crack running down the center of the corridor there. Of course, that settled back down. They're going to be able to patch that, but they've got a few more challenges now that they've got to deal with. But anything like that would be repaired before they move on, so nobody has to worry about any damages being left into the building. But it's another little pocket of thing. You can see there where the slab cracked just inside because it heaved up a little bit. But again, all things that are going to settle back down. Now that the warm weather's there, you can even see that some of those things have settled back down. And wherever there is a crack or a crack in a block or something like that, they've got to take the wall out. They've got to do tuck point, and it'll be fixed back to the point where it's supposed to be. But that just indicates how cold it got and for how long it did get cold. So, and here's just more that when they finally
that slab heaving piece, how common is that?
Well, not common because we don't have the weather that we had for 2 weeks that we had but it happened elsewhere. Some of our jobs actually had the same thing happen in other parts of Kentucky. So it's common when you have, unprotected areas, I mean, if you're inside, because eventually that's a protected, heated and air conditioned in a heated area, and that won't happen then. But in areas where the snow and ice were just able to fall on it, and like I said, the same thing happened in other areas. So it's common if you have that same conditioning happening, where you have exposed slabs, and soil has moisture in it, and if it's 8 inches below that slab, it freezes, it heaves. But now all the structure, and I should point out, of course, the structure has to go below the frost line. So all the structural pieces, all the columns, all the structural walls, were all in great shape and were well within the tolerance they were supposed to be. In fact, they didn't look like they had it really moved. So the things that we're looking at are more cosmetic, but they can't stay that way. They're going to have to take time to repair any wall or any floor and get it back to the point where it's acceptable.
So you're saying like the areas that would be, 36 inches, like sitting on a slide or sitting on a foundation.
Oh, you're talking about like a frost site? Yeah. Yes. In fact, 36 inches is every footing has to be in a commercial building or a school has to be 36 inches down. So all the columns and all the structural walls are that deep. But the slabs, and some of those slabs actually have partition walls on them, non-load bearing partition block walls. They heaved up and got little cracks in them. They settled back down now, and they're just hairline cracks, but we don't want hairline cracks. They're not a structural issue at all. Right. Yeah, it's all aesthetic. But it has to be fixed. It's one more thing they're going to have to deal with. And I was there yesterday, and we're going to monitor it and let the temperatures continue to heat up and then go around and analyze. The structural engineers and the special inspectors all came through and identified every single location and took pictures and put it on a plan. We're going to go back to every single one of those locations and say, hey, this needs fixed. And so we'll monitor all that. But yes, it's another little piece in the puzzle that they have to.
Take a minute.
It's going to take a fat minute. Yeah, it sure is. But something else for them to deal with, in addition, and that's why, let's see, no, that was the last one. I'll leave it on the snow picture here. But, so Mr. Parker and I started having some discussions. We decided let's have a meeting just with the general contractor, and because I know how important it is for you all to have a timeline and understand what your timeline is. So we met with them, this week, or I'm sorry,
last week.
I guess it was just the end of last week. And said, look, you need to look at all this. You need to find out how long it's going to take you to make these repairs. To take into account where you are and where you're going with all your subcontractors, bring them in and give us a fixed schedule. And I talked with her again today, and they're working on that fixed schedule to make sure that, where are they? And they're going to report back to us probably the middle of next week, once they construct this schedule, exactly where they are. And then, of course, I'll immediately report that all back to you all.
How does the sinkhole area that we've been working on diligently, how was that, any of that compromised because of the weather?
Yes. In fact, on the change order that came through, and that was an unfortunate situation as well, that was kind of unforeseen, but on the change order, the total, they actually asked for days on that as well. So there was 33 days there that they asked for just to extend the contract. And they've on the side collected 60 days of what they call weather days, which it's been an awful. Unfortunately, back in the fall, I think we said, let's just all hope for a good fall and a good winter, and it's been the worst case scenario. But as we've had progress meetings, it's not like we just went away and didn't think about it. We've had progress meetings. We've asked them where they were. They felt like they could make it. They feel like they could make it, and they've been reporting that all along. But it's really been the worst case scenario on them.
But due to the weather, though, nothing on that was jeopardized, right? Like the cracks that we've had in the concrete and what have you.
That's totally isolated. That's a separate situation.
Right.
Yeah,
I understand that. Yeah. I just want to make sure all that seems to be coming along just fine and is complete, and nothing was jeopardized with the weather. So that was my question.
Oh, right. Nothing jeopardized at all. It just slowed them down. There were days that they just couldn't get on the site and work. So, but they've come, as I think everybody knows, they've been there on the weekends. They've been there on the, so I don't have any problems with the contractor. They've been great. They've really been great to work with. And I don't know that another contractor, if somebody could come in and say, hey, another contractor have been 3 or 4 days ahead. I don't know how. They've been working on and I don't know that 3 or 4 days would help anyway at this point. But they've been there on the weekends. They've been there at night. I've come by late, and then
Yeah.
of course, I've had Scott County people tell me they go by there on the weekends, and they're
Yeah, I do drive-bys. There's always lots of people there. So.
well. In fact, there's a neighbor there that I think takes pictures for him every day or something. But I've met him on the site a few times as well, which is great. Really, just more eyes.
Well, Tony, that was a question I had, but I think you kind of addressed it, you know, and not to point out the elephant, but we've done, what, 6, I think 7 if we count the windows in Garth, you know, major projects with you all, and this is the first time this construction manager has worked with this. And so I'm just wondering if you had any concerns, but I feel like you're saying no, because I've heard nothing but really positive from them. But I do
Right.
feel like you have to ask the question, or like we should ask the question, do you feel like you've got concerns with the change in management?
Well, and it's
For the
and it's a
project.
fair question, yeah. And of course, it's all bid projects,
Sure.
and yeah, and even the next people that were, another million or two up. I don't see, because I know the effort that they've put forward,
Right.
and the reputation they have with Fayette County. They've done a lot of schools in Fayette County and that I've talked to, and other people. I don't feel like they've let it down. And I know the subs, and and we've seen them working, and we've had the progress meetings and field reports. So I don't feel like it's specifically the general contractor on the job at all.
I
Yeah.
felt like
Yeah.
we needed to ask that question.
No, it's a fair question. It's a fair question.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, everything they provided us has been top-notch and first class. And,
Right.
Well, I mean, sinkholes aren't mistakes, and
Yeah.
weather isn't negligence.
Right.
So these are things that,
That-
we.
Right.
So it's, I mean,
Well said.
we're all
Well said.
aware that what's happening isn't a
Well said.
function of what's
Yeah.
going on, but
Yeah.
you're the one working with them the closest. So
Yeah.
I did ask Tony last week if he would consider working with them again. He said yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So that was good enough
Yeah.
for me.
For sure. And unless there's any other questions, that is the construction report.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Tony.
Number 9, presentation of fiscal year 2025 financial audit
Oh,
completed.
you skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry, student achievement. Oh, Lord, that was a big one.
Well,
He's leaving.
I was getting ready to say,
He's
how many is
leaving.
it? How many?
He
He's on one hand now, board meetings. You were getting ready to make it one.
Well, I just looked up and actually looked at him in the back of the room, and I'm like, okay, come on up too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, just a minute. We'll be just a minute with you. Yep.
sorry. Oops. Give us some good news.
I was gonna say.
I was trying to bypass
wanna hear
you.
something good? Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I didn't think about that. Wait, we're gonna pass back and forth. That's fine. All right, hello everybody.
Sorry.
Haven't seen me for a while. I get to join
Yeah.
Wendy this time. So we're gonna be talking about iReady today, and do we have it loaded up? Okay.
We've got it though.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll, and then
Yeah.
you can just kind of follow along with it anyways. So I'm going to just start off, as a reminder, this is kind of what we go over each time we talk about iReady. Just starting off with effort. So this is about the mid-year administration of the diagnostic. And so one of the things we look for is rush flags on that. And so on rush flags, we had very, very low occurrence of rushes, which is outstanding for us. iReady always brags on us. We always incentivize for the kids not to get rush flags. So that's always a good indicator that we have good data, right? We are going to be looking at median progress growth. Oh, it is. Okay. There we go. So we're going to be looking at median progress growth. Just a reminder, median is that middle score for a student. So we aren't averages. It's the middle score that we look at. And what that does is help, no matter how many students you have taking it, no matter what their score is, if you look at the middle, it's a good indicator for us of where we are. And then you also look for students and where they're going to be on kind of like those 3 buckets. I'm not good about talking and doing this. As progressing, maintaining, or falling behind. So when we start looking at our quadrant chart, you will see that we have performance going across the bottom. So as you move left to right is performance. As you move from bottom to the top, that is growth. And so we are looking for students who are progressing and who are growing. Okay, and then in the middle, that dotted line is going to be the K through 8 median. So that's taking all of K through 8 students and where the middle score was at. Okay, and that's the median for the national norm. And Wendy's going to start off talking about some math with that. I'll click for you.
Okay. So this chart does not look as friendly as the one with the buckets. So just a reminder, on the right-hand side, that's high performance. On the left-hand side, that's low performance. We're trying to be around that 50 mark to meet in the middle there. So we will notice that the 50th percentile is the median for performance, and the national median for typical growth is a little higher than that 50 there with the dotted line. So when we look at that with our schools, you can see that we have 7 schools that were in the high performance range. 3 schools were in low performance, however, they were in high growth. And then we had 2 schools that were in low performance, low growth. However, the growth is so close to 50. We're 2 and 3 points away from being in that high growth area. And so in math, we are all about growth and learning the new HQIR, the implementation, and just strengthening up that system. When we look at this with grade levels, you can see that the grades cluster around the middle. And so we're mostly falling in the high performance or right on the line. But what this did tell us is that our 3rd and 4th grade math scores, we needed to dig deeper and see what was going on. And so we do have a plan for 3rd and 4th because they fell below where we would want them to be. And we're going to share that plan later in this topic.
So we have the same information for reading. And so this is that same kind of plot where you can see where our schools are. And you can see that in reading, we are progressing much better than we were in math, which is to be expected. We've been using our HQR a little bit longer than we have our math, but we have all schools above that 50th on growth. And we're about split even with the achievement side. So when you add in the school names in there, then you can see our schools who are at or above with the growth, or the performance rather, and the schools that are lagging a little bit behind. But again, we're pushing toward that direction that we want to. And yeah. And then when you look at it by grade level, you'll see that there are a couple of outliers. When you look at the grade level one, you've got kindergarten and 1st grade there. And we noticed that that was an outlier as well. And so when we met with the people from iReady, we said, hey, what's going on with K and 1? And they told us that that's a national trend. And I said, that's interesting. So why is that a national trend? What's your reason for that? Have you guys dug into it and figured it out? Because if we were just to look at that, we would say, oh, there might be something wrong with kindergarten and 1st grade. But they said that's where a lot of schools are showing across the nation. And so we went back to them and asked for an explanation for that because we want to be able to use good data. And so they actually brought in one of their data experts and had a meeting with us, and we talked to them, and they were talking about that these norms that were set right at around COVID time. And so the kids who were in kindergarten and 1st grade were the ones who were coming into it and needed a lot of growth. And so the norm for them was much higher growth. And so when you're comparing students now who have not had that struggle of not having background knowledge, not being exposed to preschool in the right way and all of those things, then these kids compared to those kids are not growing as quickly, but it's because they don't need to grow as quickly. So they're already growing at a good rate. So while that looks like an outlier, it is an outlier, but it's more about the norms of the test itself. And so they are reestablishing norms, and they expect that to be changed when you come into it.
Okay, so we're going to switch back to math now, and we're going to look at growth data. And so this is growth broken into bands. It's just another way to look at this. And so it is progress toward annual typical growth. We want every student to meet their typical growth goal by the end of the year. And so K-8, 54% are making progress toward that, which is where we should be or should have been when this test was taken. Elementary, 53%, and middle, 57%. When we look at this from another angle, so this is the percentage of students who have met half of their typical growth. Again, here we can see that that fourth grade stands out. And so this was another point for us to say, okay, fourth grade isn't quite making the growth that everyone else is, so what do we need to do next?
And the same thing with reading. If you look at it in the same way, you can see that we are at 64% as a whole with K-8. We're at 61% in elementary and 71% in middle school. So making very good growth, toward typical growth. And when you look at, again, the by grade level then for students who have met the half of their typical growth versus stretch growth, you're seeing that 50% and above is the norm for us at all grade levels. And stretch growth, what we're really looking for, those are students, if we're looking for students who are struggling, those are the ones that we want to start looking at their stretch growth. And so at schools, that's what they are doing. They're looking to see, are those kids, because that is what will help catch them up, indicate that they're being caught up.
All right, so this looks very familiar. This is that green to red relative placement levels. And so we have the dark striped green is that mid or above grade level. Light green is early on. Yellow is 1 grade level below. Light red, 2 grade levels below. And then the darker red, 3 or more grade levels below. And you will see over the past 3 years, our numbers are, there's consistency with our numbers. They're very much the same across the board in the 3 years for all relative placement. Here we can compare how we performed compared to the national scores and to the state scores. And so with our 36% in early to above grade level, we're slightly higher than the state and national reporting. And then 19% in that red, we are slightly lower than the state in the red. So Paul and I tease, we're like, more green, less red. That's where we want to be. We can look at how we have grown from fall to winter specifically. So in the fall, we only had 20% of our students in that early to above grade level category. Now we have 36%. And when we look at the red, we had 29% to start the year, and now we are down to 19%. And then the next 2 slides, we're going to click through quickly, but you have this in your packet. This takes a more in-depth look per grade level, how they change from fall to winter.
I think just as a reminder that, those reds down there are 2 or more grade levels below. So you'll know kindergarten and first grade, you can't see that level below. So, yeah. And that's 7th, I think.
Yes, 7.
Okay. And so looking at the same thing with reading, again, there is that consistency for our winter to winter growth. So that is over year to year growth. And similarly, when we look at where our students are compared to Kentucky and national data, we are, again, leading the way with 48% early on or mid or above grade level in that green area, and, again, just 20% that are now below. We're making good movement toward having students on grade level. And again, this is the same thing here, where we are looking at where our students are by grade level. And one of the things that I'll point out, I meant to talk about it earlier, but within reading, especially with our primary students, one of the things that we are seeing is a need for greater instruction and comprehension and vocabulary. So we do great with all the phonics and phonemic awareness, and we've put a lot of effort into Orton Gillingham And we have a reading program that we're using through iReady. And so we're doing some examination of those reading programs and seeing how we're getting the instruction around vocabulary, especially, and comprehension with our youngest readers as well to help them. Yeah, there's 6, 7, and 8. So next steps for us as we go forward, and some of these next steps will be for somebody else to carry out. Some of those are, just some might continue on, but we are continuing. We've added additional iReady learning for 3rd and 4th grade math. So we are going to be supporting them on our collab day. So in the afternoon, they're going to get some additional training this year. Yes, this year. And then we are also continuing with learning walks. And that's something new that we implemented this year, where we've had iReady consultants go into our classrooms, examine what's happening, give feedback to them, and then they come back at the PLC day, usually within the week, and then give them feedback and work with the teachers on the things that they saw. That also is side by side with instructional coaches and principals as well. So they're learning look-fors and doing all the ways to help support those teachers. We also are continuing iReady school leader check-ins. So each month when I have my PLC and when middle school principals have their PLC, we get some time with our consultant from iReady and kind of just reminding, here are things to kind of look for, what are issues that you're having or anything like that. So it's just a regular check-in for them to talk to the experts with curriculum associates. We are also piloting Common Lit in the middle school. Now I say pilot, but GMS is already using it full bore, and they are fully on board with it. Our other 2 middle schools are piloting it this year, and Common Lit is an HQIR for reading for middle school. And then the last thing with illustrative math at the middle school level, we are continuing with the Kids First coaching there, and that is an outside entity that provides training for illustrative math. And they've been working closely with middle school. They've also been in some of our high schools as well, doing some work with them.
They've been in all the high schools.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So those are our next steps to keep moving forward, getting more green and less red.
T-shirts.
What are thoughts with our kindergarten or 1st grade, especially with iReady at this time of year, as we're heading towards the end of the year? Have we made identifications, working with parents and students? We talked about that when we were talking about that legislature. So,
Oh, yes. So the K-1 retention law, is that what we're talking about?
Mhm,
Yes. All of those reading plans have been put into place, and the instructional coaches or the MTSS teachers working with principals and classroom teachers having those touch points with parents, explaining the situation and then what could come. We've also been talking about in our MTSS PLC about how we provide extra intervention for those kids, more time, a smaller group size, another day of the week, something extra.
and we've been implementing that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Does that seem to help?
I believe that students who are in such a low percentile rank, it's going to take a long time to see that growth.
Okay.
But we're putting supports in place. So yes, small steps, small growth that we can monitor for that.
What did y'all see specifically that 3rd and 4th grade have been struggling with?
Yeah, so I think this all comes down to how math switches in 3rd grade, multiplication, and how they've been practicing addition and subtraction up until, and so now in 3rd grade, they have to do it all. And it's hard to become proficient at that, and kids kind of fall all over the place. I think that's what we're seeing in the 3rd and 4th grade math, because in 3rd grade, they're supposed to have mastered all their multiplication facts. Well, that takes oftentimes longer than 3rd grade, and so we also see that 4th grade struggles with that. And I think with iReady, they have the try, discuss, connect framework, and so kids are looking at math differently and exploring with math, and I think all those things just haven't translated yet into the growth. But having the iReady rep come in, meet with those teachers specifically, kind of touch point with them about what's working and what's not, and kind of assess the problem that way, I think is going to help.
Do you think that teachers understand how to use the data that they're given from the assessment and the day-to-day to really change instruction? Because it's difficult.
It
And I
is.
don't, well, I mean, I'm just saying, because I use it.
Yes.
And I haven't had training. I'm digging in myself.
See, and I think that's extra hard because
Right,
we
yeah, it is extra hard.
we do provide the iReady support through
Yeah.
PLC, and
Uh-huh.
teachers throughout the year continuously have a touch point where they can get more support and more professional learning. So I wish you taught Scott County.
Well, and this is the other thing that I was going to say. My data is really good because I teach a song for all the,
Mm.
and my kids know how to multiply, and you can do it in a week.
Mm.
They just sing the song every day. So I need to maybe get the song to you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I won't charge.
Okay. I don't think you're legally.
That's
compliant.
funny.
I don't think that game, yeah.
I was just saying, you remember that Jill Wells taught me my multiplication tables. We used to do them in fourth grade
Yeah.
when I was at Southern. And I can
Mhm.
still remember Miss Wells at her desk and us having to go up.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
The bulletin board had all the tables,
Mhm.
multiplication tables, and it was like a little race, like a horse race. So you
Mhm.
would have them memorized. And
Yeah.
I got it, Miss Wells, and you'd run up and you'd tell them to her at the desk. And if you screwed up, you had to go back and start over.
Yeah.
You could move your pony.
Jill Wells, like DT's mom, Jill Wells.
Yes.
I also
That
had
is
Jill
DT's
Wells.
mom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am
yeah.
today's year. Oh, knowing that that's DT's mom.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I had Jill Wells in this building.
Did you
I
really?
did.
Oh, wow.
Miss Faye.
She was my fourth grade teacher.
Yeah.
Seriously? Well, that is a small world.
I know.
He gets all kinds of bingo board bonus points for all of this.
Yeah.
It all goes
Right,
to
has
Jill.
our time
It
run
goes to
out? Can
Jill.
we stop talking about DT now?
Josh, you kind
That'd be so awesome.
He said I stopped on time.
I was just reminiscing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you guys have any questions for
Any
us?
more
no,
questions?
that's good.
No?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Number 9. Now I can do the math. Presentation of the fiscal year 2025 financial audit completed by Barnes Denny.
I bet you're wishing you snuck up here the first time.
And my apologies too. That's on me. We maybe should have switched things around. So.
Oh, we got new style. Reading.
Nice to see you again. Thanks.
I have like.
And while he's passing this out, I just Gina is with family in Texas this week, so so just that's why if you're wondering where Gina's at, that's
I know it's the same. Looks-
yeah.
All right, so
Now I just realized.
I just handed you a copy of the final audit report and a presentation. I'm just going to go through the presentation as a highlight of everything that went on. This is the audit report for the fiscal year 25 audit that we were engaged to do. The financial statements as well as the single audit, which looks at federal fund compliance for the district. Some required communications, auditor and management responsibilities. The financial statements are your responsibility. We as auditors perform risk-based auditing, so we look at the riskiest areas. We perform most testing in those areas. So we do not provide absolute assurance, but reasonable assurance. We do get an understanding of the internal controls of the district, but this is not an internal control audit. And then the engagement letter has additional responsibilities for management and us as auditors. The executive summary page has the good news. We issued an unmodified or clean opinion on both the financial statements and the major federal programs, and that's the best opinion you can get. We received excellent cooperation from Gina and her team. Gina is the main point person that we make requests from, but I know she's got a lot of help from a lot of different people, so she's great to work with. No disagreements or difficulties encountered during the audit, and there were no consultations with other independent accountants, or else we would communicate those to you. There was a new GASB standard that was implemented in the current year, GASB 101, which deals with compensated absences. It basically kind of uniformly, all local governments have different, accrued leave, so they could have annual leave, sick leave, vacation, PTO, and they were all being calculated and measured in different ways. So this kind of uniformly puts all that under one umbrella, and this is how you calculate it and determine. So that is described in the financial statements, and that impact on the financial statements as well. There were no internal control matters that are reportable. We were not made aware of any matters related to fraud or illegal acts, or we would communicate those to you, but there were none that we encountered during the audit. And then the management representation letter is attached. They're the last couple of pages of this presentation. This is the letter that we get from management at the conclusion of the audit that basically says, we cooperated during this process. We gave you all the records that you requested, and we've communicated everything that we're aware of as far as the financial statements goes. So you can peruse through that as well. And then I have a couple slides related to the financial statement trends, assets, and deferred outflows that have been increasing. Liabilities did increase in 2025 related to a new bond during the year, fiscal year 25. And then your net position continues to increase consistently year over year, which is great. The revenues exceeding expenditures every year. On the next page, you'll see a line graph of the revenues and expenses district-wide. And again, that blue line is consistently over the orange line, exceeding the expenditures. This does include the impact of the pension liability, the statewide pension liability, and the other post-employment benefit plan, which is obviously out of the district's control. But as those actuarial reports determine what the share of the liability for the district is, that impact gets reflected in the financial statements as well. We also like to show the general fund balances. So we have the balance sheet trends, again, very similar to the district-wide, assets increasing, liabilities remaining relatively low and consistent with prior years, and then your revenues consistently exceeding your expenditures every year. And then that revenues and expenses are on the next page, similar trends. And then the last slide here is the revenues over expenses for food service. Past 2 years, so 23 and 24, expenses had exceeded revenues. In 25, that flipped, so there was more revenues than expenses for the food service fund due to more lunchroom sales and less contract services and materials in that fund. And that's all.
And I think that'd be an example of where you're identifying a trend that we had noticed ourselves, and we've taken measures to rectify. So I'm excited to see what next year shows. And then Gina has my contact information, and we like to say we're your auditors all year round. So if anything comes up, any issues, please feel free to contact us. And if you all read through the final report and have questions or would like to discuss anything with me directly, Gina has my contact information, so you can reach out to her. And Gina has more direct engagement with your all's firm than I do, but she speaks very highly and really appreciates the cooperation and just the professionalism that your all's organization exhibits. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, that is, yes.
Number 10, approve to amend the 2025-2026 school calendar. Billy, do you have any comments or?
I hope this is the last time we have to amend it.
Amen.
But
anything you'd like to magically throw in there?
no,
for us?
just as I recall, it was like right after a board meeting that Snowmageddon 2026 happened. So we've got a lot of things that, or actually, I take that back. We had already kind of created the agenda, and then we started having some days creep in there that might have impacted some of this. So, yeah, it tracks with where I think we've communicated we are, and that is we will finish up school just before June 1st, and then I think the last day for teachers I think is June 1st. Yes. So. Yes, so anyway, and we, at this point, just as far as what do we still have at our disposal, I believe we still have 3 NTI days, and we have, if we had to, March 16th, if we had to take that day away, although Paul made a pretty strong and convincing argument for why I'd really hate to have to do that. So we will see. We will see. I will say this too. We've come dangerously close this week to having to shutter our doors because of illness, both staff and students. So it's
And bus drivers?
that's part of our staff. So
Right.
yes, yes.
Well, I just want
Wow.
to clarify
Yes.
that.
Well, sure,
Yep.
correct. Yep.
Yep.
How many were absent today? 12?
I'm not sure about today's numbers. Yeah, I'm not sure about today's numbers. But Tuesday was significant. That was a significant day that was staff's significant day and students. So hopefully, we can make it to the weekend and we can get everybody a few days away from each other and heal up and have your chicken noodle soup and do your high kicks or whatever it is that brings you joy and happiness. And
62 and sunny tomorrow. Maybe we can go
I know.
Yeah.
That's
there we
great.
go.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. Well, our energy manager back there, he makes sure we've got the appropriate clean air coming in all of our buildings too. So,
Fresh and filtered, right?
yeah, yeah.
Is there any discussion from the board? No? Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, approve or ratify school bus mechanic position.
Move. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approve FRISC comprehensive program plans fiscal year 2026 through 2028.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those that oppose? Motion carries. Number 13, approve addendum between GoFan agreement and Scott County Board of Education from July 1st, 26th through June 30th of 29.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, accept and award bid to replace, repair existing dugouts at Lemons Mill Elementary softball field.
Move.
Second.
Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, accept and award bid to replace existing gym sound system at Royal Spring Middle School.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, renewal of award for depository bank for the 2026-2027 school year.
Move. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, renewal of award for bus driver and classified employee physicals and administration of the DOT Substance Abuse Program for the 2026-2027 school year.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, renewal of award for drug testing services bid 2026 through 2027.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approve surplus items as submitted.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
What's the general lifespan on a Chromebook? Like when we're seeing these Chromebooks being surplus, what should we assume given normal wear? How old should we assume that Chromebook is?
Those Chromebooks, like, 100 or so they would be usually we have a
Right,
like
yeah.
every 4 years we're at least getting
Yeah, I remember we did
new
that
ones,
model.
but we
when
still
started.
repurpose those, and a lot of times we're taking screens out and make repairs.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So
I was just kind of curious. I know
Yeah.
we discussed that at whatever, how many years ago we went 1-to-1, but it's been a minute, so I just
if
kind of
you
wanted to be
take good care of
refreshed.
it, it can go beyond 4 years. but
Okay.
we kind of do a rule of thumb of about 4,
Okay.
and we assess every single program.
Gotcha. Because when we, you know, when we, the reason we give is that does no longer meets the KTS standards. I didn't know if there was something immediate about that, like
Yeah,
there was
if
just
they don't have like a screen anymore, it doesn't meet our standards. So
Sure, right, obviously, yeah, I just didn't know if there was some internal piece, like, you know, like you used to do with the Windows updates, if you couldn't get the Windows 95
No,
or
most of
whatever
them,
it was,
some
it
of
was
them,
obsolete.
some of them do. A lot of those Dell 3100s, they've met their end of life. So we try to purchase things that are going to have life years in advance. So that's not an issue, but a lot of these things have purchased.
Before we got into it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, fair enough, just curious.
Good question.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 20 is our financial statement.
And so, again, Gina's out, so those, the financial statement, as, you know, that's been provided for you, it's within there, and she didn't give me a cheat sheet of all the wonderful things that she would want to say, but of course, you all know, I mean, you can read them, but not only that, too, you all know that you can reach out if you've got any questions to either me or Gina.
Okay, thank you. Number 21, approve current bills.
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, Josh, can you start the clock, please?
How much time do I get? Do I get 5?
30 seconds.
He said 30
On the
seconds.
clock.
All right, are we ready? All right, standard 1, strategic leadership. I attended with Gina the UK Economic Outlook Conference. We've attended this multiple times. It's neat because there's really not any school folks there. It's banking folks, it's insurance type folks. This topic, one of the topics that really stuck out to me this year was they looked at natural disasters and the economic impact, both positive and negative, that plays into. Ironically, there was a corridor of us, Grant County, and I can't remember which other one, 3 counties kind of in the row that didn't experience so much significant disaster over the course of the year that they qualified for federal and state funding. There was like 7 counties in the whole state. It was kind of mind-blowing to me that there was that much going on across the state, and it's kind of like we dodged many bullets there. Instructional leadership. Lemons Mill had a guest speaker, Eniola Shakunbi, sorry. This was something that was arranged by Melissa Clay. She does a fabulous job over there. This was really, to me, it fit a lot with Leader and Me because this was a student from Connecticut that had a problem with air quality in her area. She came up with a solution. She spoke to legislators, and basically this was kind of an empowerment kind of thing from my perspective for students to see, look, you matter, you can make a difference. You have a voice. It was really, really powerful. The 5th graders there had a chance to engage with her directly, and we had representatives from Kentucky State Government there as well to participate. Our 4T Academy was visited by Commissioner Fletcher a few weeks ago. He had an opportunity to see that, and we talked a little bit about JROTC that was coming. That's also going to be housed in that same location. And then just today, the Kentucky Board of Education hosted a special called meeting at ECS, and it was for high school transformation work group, and they had a number of people there from the Kentucky Chamber. They had people from all across the state, some school folks, some economic type folks, and anyway, just talking about ideas and ways to try and create for a more positive experience in those school districts, or in all school districts. And we did have 3 students that presented about their school experience. They did just a really powerful presentation. They did a great job. Cultural leadership, Stella Walters. We recognized her at the Battle of the Birds, and Stella is a mainstay in Scott County schools, and that was really nice. She pulled a Stella and grabbed the mic and told everybody what she wanted to tell them, and I mean it was just as authentic Stella as you could get. Human resources leadership, planning for allocations meetings with principals. Those have been delayed a little bit more than most years because of Oxford Elementary and some of the planning with that and how that impacts open enrollment. We did select the next principal of Great Crossing High School, Jenna Landacre. So that's out there. We've got that done, and we've also done some other things, but I was more directly involved in this one, so that's why I'll talk about this one. And then again, thank you all for the bus garage, the bus mechanic position. We We have had a really difficult time with people being on leave back in our bus garage. I mean, kind of unprecedented. And again, this isn't a situation like in a school where we have substitute teachers on call. Diesel mechanics are just very hard to find. So I appreciate what you all have done for us there to try and put us in a good position to where we can keep our buses safe and our students safe. School closures and facility preparations under managerial leadership, not a lot to say there. It was what it was. And then under collaborative, we did have a lot of communication and coordination between the city, the county, and the state road departments and ourselves. Greg and his team did a phenomenal job, and I would say that some of the reasons we were able to come back as soon as we were was because our teams tackled what we could as fast as we could, and therefore we didn't have the freezing and refreezing day after day that turned it into a block of ice that was impossible to move. Last but not least, influential leadership. I really, really appreciate Matt Nunn and his willingness to carry Senate Bill 124, which is the teacher choice sick day cash out program, and that's again just an idea that I'll just be excited to see where it goes. And while me and Gina were driving to the Economic Outlook conference, she came up with a number of ideas of ways that if that rolls, that we may be able to incentivize that for our teachers. Maybe providing, like, if they participate up to this much, maybe the district kicks in 1% or 2%, some way to kind of entice our people to invest. And I know when I started in 2000, I still remember in Franklin County, we had a program where if you participated, then they would give you, I think, a 1% or something that they would contribute on your behalf. And I recall the fact that everybody was saying, well, you're giving away free money if you don't participate. And so that was my first experience with investments. And I think that might be a little bit of a nugget that I might come to you all in the future and say, hey, what do you all think about this, and see if that's something that we might want to do. But again, she is just a minefield of ideas. But anyway, that's all I got.
What group of teachers did you say that would help?
So
technically
any teacher, but
so a
but
29-year.
Well, if I'm not quite 29, but I'm pretty close there. I would not participate because tiers 1 through 3, we are in a spot where the value of those sick days at the end is more than if we were to take it out and invest it. Now, if you're a tier 4 person, the math that we've ran is if you are a tier 4 teacher, you withdraw as many days as you can every year once you get to the point where you can, and you put that into a 457 vehicle, put it in like a total stock market index fund, assume a 10% draw or a 10% increase in that investment every year. If you do a 4% draw at the end, essentially it'd be about 5 times more that you'd have at the end by doing that in tier 4 than if you kept it in the system and then let it kick in.
And not
because, well, I mean, the way it just works out is the compounding of interest or the compounding of that investment over that time would be such that it's so much higher versus just using in the system. The other benefit to that is if they take it out and it doesn't apply towards TRS, it's not impacting the TRS burden. So they're getting more, and they're getting it from somebody other than the district or the state. So it's a benefit to taxpayers in that way. Again, it's a benefit to the individual in that way. And if it incentivizes them to try and hang on to their days, it's a benefit to our students. So
who's considered tier 4?
if you were hired after January 1st, 2022, so the babies. Yep.
So does this money, if you chose to take it out and put it in investments, go to a certain financial management firm, or is it all all on your own?
It's just your own. So, like for instance, at retirement, oftentimes when people cash out their sick days, oftentimes there's an opportunity to slip that straight into an investment. It'd be that same kind of opportunity where they could, at the time that they're withdrawing, it's okay, do you want this directly, or do you want to participate by putting it into a vehicle like a 457 or 403B? So that would be where they would make that call or that decision. But technically, it's their money to do that with, and there's no obligation of necessarily how that works. Yep.
Okay.
I'm polished on that one. I've had a lot of
I
time
see.
speaking on that
Yes,
one.
you have. Thank you. All right. Well, let's jump to board comments. Eleanor, if you'd like to start out.
Yes, we have a new face in the audience. There she is.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yep. Kelly Beckett's in the room. She was hired as our director of secondary schools, and that was one I didn't handle. That was one that Miss Emmons took care of and chaired for us. So yes, congratulations. We're really excited.
And we just got back from our school board annual conference. It was very interesting. Maria came up and said, I heard you had a class on or conference meeting on AI, and we did. So when I told her, I said, the fear is less. So I think I'm ready to go. Hope. So anyway, it's very worthwhile, and it was fun. Always learn about people that you're associated with when you're away from home, whether it be a surprise or. So anyway, it was fun.
Chuck? I thought she was talking about Chuck over there.
I think she was.
Susan.
Avoid the flu. Thank you. That's all I have to
Words
say.
from the wise.
Trying.
There you
A
go.
lot.
Thank you, thank you.
Avoid the flu.
That's the truth. Becky.
Okay, just a couple of quick notes of appreciation. One, tagging on to what Billy said about the roads. I really appreciate the way the district and the community, local road departments work together. I was, having traveled into other communities surrounding, I was very impressed and proud of ours and how we were able to get kids back to school just as quickly as humanly possible through that collaboration. Also, mentioning the school board conference, tagging on to Eleanor, Brenda does an awful lot of work to help us prepare and then gives us wonderful handouts to keep us organized
Yes,
where
she
we need
does.
to be, making sure we get the credits we get. And I don't think we can do it without her. Thanks, Brenda.
Go ahead.
Well, I truly enjoyed this past weekend getting to, hang out and talk and getting to know.
And take classes.
Yeah. What did you say?
And take classes.
Oh, I thought you said something else. And take classes.
And take classes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I wanted you to add that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did the 3-hour AI training, so I feel like it was. I felt like this year was probably the best year as far as the what we learned. So make sure you let them know. I mean, it was different and it was good, and the leaders were good. The speakers, the presenters were amazing. One of the presenter, Rennie, is going to mentor my son.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That is
He has his
awesome.
telephone number
Yeah.
because my son is a small football player, and I felt like they had the same story, and so he's going to mentor it. But I do I want to say one thing, and I had to write it. Happy Black History Month. It's ending, and I have a little Black history about Scott County schools that I wanted to read. So y'all it's 2 pages. It won't be very long. Okay. Take my glasses off so I can read. All right. So the long road to the boardroom, a Scott County story. Now, if you're looking at this room right now, it seems very modern as a boardroom. You see the microphones, the digital agenda, the comfortable chairs. But the story of the leaders that we celebrate tonight didn't start in the boardroom like this. It started in a rented house in the spring of 1866. So let's talk about the architect. During this time, just imagine a colored school board director's room in Scott County. They had no tax revenue. They had no government building. The Freedmen's Bureau gave them simple and daunting challenge. Find a building, and then we'll help you find teachers. Our community didn't hesitate, so they rented a house, gathered 20 students, and charged the students $1.50 a month for tuition. They rented this house for this group of people. And even though they had called it Scott County, the heart of Scott County, it was full of orphans and families in need who went to this school that was for free, or the free school. From those humble roots, it grew giants like Charles Steele, I'm celebrating, who led the Boston School and the Chambers Avenue for decades, and Ed Davis, whose name still rings a bell in our history books as a beacon of excellence. These pioneers weren't just educators, they were guardians of a dream. They kept the rented rooms in Rosenwald School in Sadieville in New Zion. They kept the lights on for the Peach Orchard School that burned down in 1898, and they kept the books open until the School of Scott County High finally swung its doors wide for integration in 1956. So let's think about the trailblazers. Who are the trailblazers? Well, from the centuries, there were leaders inside and outside, but in 1967, about exactly 110 years after the first community board was formed, Mr. Luther Mason was made the first African-American school board member in Scott County. Now, Luther didn't just break the ceiling, he solidified his place, and he stood in distinction for 14 years. Now, I guess I just didn't know this, but his wife actually came after him. I thought she came before. But Ann Mason stepped up to the plate.
He started after her again.
Yeah, and she didn't just, seal the deal. She also was a board chair for many years. So together, the Masons showed us what school board supervision and service is all about. It was a family calling, and we all know now that we have a school named after after Ann. And then we may not know this person, but she's a torchbearer. The calling was Phyllis Young. And Phyllis Young was the third African-American board member in Scott County. In 2010, she also remained very influential. Was that me to say go stop?
Sorry. That's my phone. That's my phone.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I'm almost finished.
No, it's my phone went off. Sorry.
She took all the value. She also was the district at large Kentucky School Board Association member, which I did not know that. She made sure that decisions that were made here in Scott County was also affected in Frankfort. And today, we see that same fire in this senorita, Wendy Young. I didn't just walk into my seat, I earned it. I earned this spot. I was appointed in 2022, and then I also faced voters twice. I won twice. And I want you to know that I understand that the work of education is never finished. It requires a constant energy, a thick skin, and a servant's heart. Last paragraph. Our legacy. So we are celebrating Black History Month. I want you to remember that we're not just talking about their history, but this is our history. From teachers in 1895 who were paid $34 a month, to the Masons who navigated the 70s and 80s, and the young team leading today. Our children are not children of just Scott County. They're not the children of a zip code, or a color of their skin should never be a barrier to their potential. To the pioneers who helped us get to where we are, we want to just say thank you. We are here today because of you. That was my Black History Month.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, and so I got a lot of this off of Northern Kentucky. They have a lot of this information. So I learned a lot. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, on a different note, number 24. Move to closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F to discuss student disciplinary matters.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Closed session.
Now it's Frank's show.